Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. Over 1,800 audios here on the Pro Wrestling Logic side of things. This is the Superstars of Wrestling June 25th, 1994 edition. Pierre of the Quebecers coming out with Johnny Polo against Typhoon, one half of the former Natural Disasters. Also, rare occurrence as Gorilla Monsoon joining Jerry Lawler at the broadcast booth for this particular week. Typhoon here in 1994 for a few months, doesn't last too long. I think less than about 6 months during the time period. I think he talked about coming back, but is in WCW by later in 1994 in time for Fall Brawl. So he's only here for a very short span of time here. And uses some power, gets the man up, and ultimately, maybe there was a tease for a Natural Disasters reunion that we never saw, but who really knows? Anyway, uh, attempted full Nelson by Pierre. Of course, Pierre, one half of the Quebecers, who are not the Mounties. They're not allowed to be the Mounties. Anyway, use of the ropes, really basic match, nothing worth writing home about. Decent enough psychology, but a slow plotting match. And of course, Johnny Polo, aka Raven, on the outside of the ring, playing the role of being a good individual there. The big splash and the win for Typhoon gets the victory. The turn of Jim the Emerald Neidhart is highlighted. Also, the winning of the King of the Ring tournament by Owen Hart is also highlighted in a King of the Ring report style situation. King of the Ring kind of underplayed after it happens. Really well promoted, but I don't know. It doesn't necessarily come across as big a show post-show as it did pre-show. At least that's my estimation. Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn, managed by Harvey Whippleman, the team of Well Done, basically used as an opening match or second match act at the time. Around the loop with various tag teams. Anyway, the enhancement talent gets a handle on them, Well and Dunn. Never really get a major push in the area, but couple of body slams by the enhancement talent, and they don't really get too far, but they obviously do get the win, especially being managed by Harvey Whippleman at the time. Highlights for upcoming bloopers, bleeps, and body slams. Film is upcoming, and they kind of talk about all the mistakes that can happen and that sort of thing. Sparky Plug, Thurman Sparky Plug, otherwise known as Bob Holly, has a match here. Did not remember that his push began this early in 1994. Enhancement talent match for him, and he's wrestling around. I actually love his Smoky Mountain stuff, although he wasn't there very long, only a matter of months, probably about maybe a quarter of a year, something like that. Arm drags and arm bars and basic stuff there. Holly sends the man off, gets a good drop kick because Bob Holly known for decent style drop kicks, and of course doing the stock car racing individual deal there. Although should know that he's been here because he was part of, or meant to be part of, that WrestleMania 10-man tag team match, Sunset Flip, and a win for the Spark Plug Bob Holly. And so we move forward into the next in the series of matches, the Ted DiBiase's Undertaker against PJ Walker. PJ Walker later going on to be just incredible in ECW and then later WWE and WWE ECW. But the old school Undertaker spots the hard shot under the throat. DiBiase along with him, of course, does the walk the rope spot and the tombstone. Of course, this leads to Undertaker versus Undertaker at SummerSlam, which I believe is announced the following week or something like that. Within the next 2 weeks anyway, because it is announced in this series of things. But Undertaker versus Undertaker, of course, Mark Calloway, the original Undertaker versus Brian Lee, his friend who he advocates for the position. Then we move to the 1-2-3 Kid in an enhancement match here. I believe Barry Houston, the individual holding the position there. Punches, kicks, sliding leg drops, and the like. Gets the man tied up in the ropes. This is around the time, about a month away, maybe a little less actually. I think this is actually Jeff Hardy at the time. kick under the chin. But around the time of the great Bret Hart and yeah, it is Jeff Hardy because Hardy hits the uh, kind of almost whisper in the wind type maneuver, and 1, 2, 3 kid goes and gets the figure four, and then kind of a stump puller ends up pulling him into a submission, getting the submission, and a decent match. Waltman and Hardy always had decent chemistry until, um, Hardy's, well, both of their respective substance abuse issues got in the way later in the TNA days. But anyway, we're not there. Don't know that we'll ever do TNA. I don't know that I dislike myself that much. Anyway, I do modern day Impact because it's still relevant, but even there, there's a struggle there. Quang, later known as Savio Vega, in an enhancement matchup here, lots of punch kick. Quang with the red and black mask versus the black and gold mask that he'd been known for prior. Just trying to change the gimmick up a little bit. Harvey Wippleman still siding with him. Adam Bomb having walked away from Wippleman there. Punch kick, basic stuff. Nothing necessarily to write home about. The mist and then a spin kick by Quang gets the win. Continued hype for the replay of the King of the Ring tournament on pay-per-view, back when they still had pay-per-view replays that mattered a little bit. Then we go to a Lex Luger enhancement match. Still amazing to me that Luger, who by this point in '94 is becoming relatively irrelevant, ends up doing the feud with Tatanka for a little bit, and then joining up with what could have been a good tag team, I think, Davey Boy Smith, the Allied Powers in early '95. But really, I mean, after WrestleMania 10, Luger's the bloom is off the rose as far as he's concerned. Punched, kicked, and basic stuff. Leg drop attempted by Barry Horowitz. Horowitz, of course, a perennial enhancement talent here. Luger gets the victory with the torture rack back breaker. Easy for me to say 3 times fast, and Luger gets the victory. Once again, more hype for the Hall of Fame and hype for the upcoming Raw, and the close with the desire for fans to continue to support the replay of the King of the Ring. We'll move forward and be back right after this.